Welcome to today's update on the 2024 US presidential election. It's October 9th and the race is heating up. Let's dive into the latest polling data and see where the candidates stand. As of today, we're seeing a very tight contest between the two main candidates. President Kamala Harris, who has been actively campaigning across the country, energizing her base and focusing on key issues, and former President Donald Trump, who is making a strong comeback with his rallies, drawing massive crowds and his message resonating with many voters. The national polls have been fluctuating, with some giving Harris a slight edge, highlighting her appeal in urban areas and among younger voters, while others show Trump gaining ground in key states, particularly in rural regions and among older demographics. The race is incredibly close and every vote will count in this high-stakes election. Let's start with the national polls. According to a poll from Emerson College, Harris is leading Trump by just 1 percentage point. Harris with 50% and Trump with 49%. But this is far from the whole picture. It's the Battleground States that will ultimately decide this election. These states, often unpredictable, hold the key to victory for either candidate. Their diverse demographics and shifting political landscapes make them the focal point of intense campaigning. In Ohio, for instance, Trump holds a solid lead, polling at 51% compared to Harris's 44%. Ohio, with its mix of urban and rural voters, has always been a bellwether for national trends. The candidates have poured significant resources into this state, hoping to sway undecided voters. Meanwhile, Harris is ahead in New Hampshire with 51% to Trump's 44%. New Hampshire, known for its independent-minded electorate, often surprises with its election outcomes. The state's small size belies its outsized influence in the Electoral College. In other crucial swing states like Arizona, Harris holds a narrow lead. Arizona's growing Latino population and influx of new residents have turned it into a competitive battleground. Both campaigns are focusing on grassroots efforts to mobilize voters. Meanwhile, North Carolina remains a toss-up with both candidates polling at 48%. This state, with its blend of urban centers and rural areas, reflects the nation's political divide. The outcome here could very well tip the balance in the Electoral College. Let's not forget about the third-party candidates. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Cornel West, and several others are also running in this election. These candidates often bring unique perspectives and issues to the forefront that might otherwise be overlooked. Their campaigns, though not as widely covered as the major parties, can still have a significant impact on the overall election dynamics. In many cases, they can draw votes away from the major candidates, and their presence could impact the outcome in tight races. In states like Michigan, where every vote counts, Kennedy is polling at 5%, which is a notable figure. This level of support could be enough to influence the final results, potentially swaying the results in favor of one of the major candidates. The role of third-party candidates is crucial in understanding the full picture of the electoral landscape. Now, what's driving voters? The economy continues to be the most important issue for many Americans, influencing who they trust to lead the country. According to polls, voters are split on which candidate they believe can best handle the economic recovery. So, what's next? As we move closer to Election Day, we'll be keeping an eye on these battleground states and how third-party candidates may tip the scales. With polls this close, every vote will count.